Welcome to the Aeries Gradebook walkthrough part 2. So some of you may notice in the last session that these had past terms and they're all one giant stack. That was a bug and we fixed it. So what's happening now is the current term is the 6 weeks we're about to have, and then in the future we have the other terms. The instructions from the previous lesson worked just fine. We just fixed a little bug that impacted this part of the tutorial. So what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to assign categories and make assignments and do a little bit of grading. So you can click assign categories. If you're ever wanting to go back to your home base, that's what the dashboard is for. You can always click that. And then of course, depending on the way you have your settings up here, it can look different. I prefer the table. So before you can add assignments, you have to add categories. And the categories are important, so the gradebook properly weighs the assignments, as you can see, doing weighted scoring. So our two categories for the district are daily and major. You can change the color to whatever you like. So it's 50-50. And this warning is telling you that your math ain't mathin', so you have to get to 100%. So we'll just have major and daily. You can, of course, label them differently as per your vocab. Just make sure it's something that the students and or parents can know so they understand what's going on in the class. So this is really important. So this warning up here says you have to link gradebooks before you make categories or assignments. So I'm going to go to this is currently an honors class. So if you click this arrow, you can switch between classes. You can go to the future, and then later in the year, you can scroll way to the bottom and go to the past. So this is not an honors algebra class, and you see they were not linked together, and you will shortly find once the page loads and I go back to categories that these are different because they aren't linked. So make sure you link your things beforehand. So now I'm going to go back to my honors class. It doesn't matter which one because they're linked, they're treated the same. And we're going to figure out what to do with assignments. So there are multiple ways to get to the assignments area. You can click that assignments there. You can click this add assignments here. Or you can go to manage assignments. It's going to load in and boop. So we're going to go backwards through this. So we can import assignments. If you're, depending on how your department or you or other teachers, as other people as more and more people get their gradebook set up, you can actually import assignments from other teachers, but the default should be to yourself. So I'm going to import an assignment from a different class. So let's say I'm going to be gone and I want all my classes to do the same thing for the day, but they have different links. The gradebooks aren't linked together. Boom, imported the assignment, and it's there. Or it's going to be there. You can also make the assignment and push it to other gradebooks. So it lets you push to the groups, which makes sense. All of the assignments go together. So I can just push this wherever. Ask a confirmation, and now a copy of that assignment goes everywhere to my other gradebooks. And we can go to one of our normal algebra classes to see that. And there's import. So now we're going to go back to honors algebra, and we're going to learn how to make an assignment. You can also go to scores by class. It'll show you probably a more typical outlook. So there's our import assignment. Here are my students. You can enter grades. We'll come back to that. So from this menu, I like to just add assignment right there. It's really quick. So we can name it whatever. The parents and the students can see both of these areas. Formative and summative, that's more for your note taking. It doesn't really affect things. This category is important. You don't want your test to go in as a daily grade. It won't hit the grade correctly. Final assignment. I believe this only applies to high school for our midterms and our finals. Do not drop. I have another video that will show you how to drop grades at the end of the grading period so you don't have to do it manually. And you'll probably want to check this for like a quiz or a test or something like that. Extra credit, I have no idea what it does. So with this assigned on thing, you have to make sure your due dates are in, don't know how I did that, are in the correct range or you'll have errors. So the default assignment, if you have not done this before, is 10 out of 10, and you're not going to want that. Boom. So I have this error. We're in the first 6 weeks, but the dates are invalid because the 11th is not inside of the 11th and the 4th, sorry, is not inside the 6 weeks. So not only do we have to be in the 6 weeks, but we have to have them in the correct order. Otherwise, we get an error. So you're going to want to make this 100 out of 100 at all times. I'm going to show you why in a second. And then from this menu, you can push to other gradebooks. So if you just click save, this screen will stay here forever. You have to hit save and close to make it go away. So, boom, I put 100 in for the kid and they have 100. I put 100 in for this assignment and it's a really big number. So if you click on this arrow, you look here, it says 10 out of 10. It's not, it's actually thinking that the maximum grade on this should be a 10 to give you 100. But I don't think any of us really grade that way. So you can always go back to edit the thing and make it 100 out of 100. This will save you a lot of headaches. And it still allows you, say you have a bonus question or extra credit on an assignment, it still allows that to happen. So boom, 100 is 100, but say, I don't know, Riley, good job, you got 102 on your test or your assignment. Boom. So that's how you make the assignments. If you have an issue with it, you can change any of these categories at any time. And if you just need to make it disappear later, you can do so. So then if you type in capital NA, this says 0 because there are no other grades in, but because the mark is blank, it ignores it. So NA is for exempt, and then TX tells the student it's missing. But as we learned the hard way last year, you see how this is blank? That's because the system does not read it as a 0. It just reads it as missing. So if you ever put a TX into your grades, you're going to have to go back later to put the 0 for the grade to have its proper weight. So one last time, capital NA exempts, TX tells the students that it's missing, but a TX is not the same thing as a 0. I believe that's everything. Oh yeah, you can go back and search your sums. I believe that's everything. You can play around with reports to find interesting data. And yeah, that concludes this part. I hope that's helpful.